This is Umar for BoxNation. What a night. Magnificent Seven never fails to deliver, Frank. Let's start with the main event.
Oh, it's a cracking fight, and you're absolutely right what you said. You know, Magnificent Seven, it's well named, it was magnificent. The 7 fights were all great fights. That main event, which is so competitive, and hats off to both of them. You know, they both put in a great performance. The crowd loved it, the fans loved it. And Denzel's now put himself, into a position where he now is the mandatory and we'll get a rematch with Ganabek. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Absolutely.
That happened early sometime next year.
Frank, I thought Denzel started really well, sharp. And in the middle rounds, I thought Brad was beating him to the punch.
He got back into it. There weren't a lot in it at one stage. You know, he got some rounds back. There's no doubt about it. I think the telling point was when he got caught, and then it became Denzel sort of emphasised his power and maybe, maybe his experience came through.
Frank, are you hearing potentially that Janibek might vacate his WBO title?
That I don't know, but if he does, and then our man will be fighting for the vacant title, whatever happens.
I guess the dream scenario is Hamza wins the WBC, Denzel's got the WBO.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? That would be fabulous. If we could do that, that'd be can you imagine that for a domestic unification fight? What a bust up that'd be.
Frank, I think the biggest talking point from tonight was David Adelaide's return. Spectacular.
Unbelievable. 14 months out the ring, went in there and done the business in style, made a statement against a guy who was undefeated in Soldakers and done it in a unbelievable fashion.
A vicious knockout, really, yeah.
It was. That's what people want to see out of heavyweights. That's how it is. And he's put himself well and truly back in the mix.
Would you make the Fraser-Clark fight next?
Yeah, if he wants it. If Fraser wants to do it, he's a free agent. Absolutely.
Okay. Lawrence Okoli, what a heavyweight debut.
Made a statement, didn't he, at heavyweight? I think, which I said before the fight, the fact that he wouldn't be having to make weight, and I think that may have been a problem. And certainly when he was down at cruiserweight, he moved up to bridgeweight and a good knockout there. He showed what he's about, and I think the fact that he hasn't got that he is now comfortable. He's such a big man. I don't know how he ever done it when you look at the size of him. And again, that was an unbelievable statement. He's
a brilliant position with the WBC, Lawrence. But he said in the interim he'll welcome a fight with Joe Joyce. Could we see that?
May happen. I'd have to speak to Joe's people and see where we go with that. But, at the moment, he announced himself well and truly to be part of the heavyweight scene in a big way.
What did you think of Sam Noakes tonight?
I thought Sam boxed extremely well against a very brave, tough guy who's never been stopped in Ryan. And I generally think Sam boxed so intelligently. Very, very good performance. He'll fight for a world title next year as well.
And his brother Sean?
Sean done a great job. It's once he started getting into it, he then took command of the fight, and it was just a great job. He done a fantastic job.
Early on, before the TV portion started, Pierce O'Leary with a devastating knockout.
I didn't see it, but I'll watch the film back. But every time it was unbelievable knockout. He can do that. He'll be stepping up next year, and he'll be looking for very big fights, and he'll get them.
Lastly, Frank, just before we close off,
and also so did Royster.
Impressed?
Boxed very well, very impressive. I was very impressed with it.
Frank, just one away from this. I spoke to Zhilei Zhang last night, did an interview, and it was a bit surprising. He said if he beats Caballero, which is a big if, it's a tough task, there is a potential, and there has been talks about doing a fight with Joshua. What can you tell me about that?
I haven't had a conversation about it, but we'll see.
Okay. Just a last word on tonight, Frank.
Fabulous. I mean, the concept works, doesn't it? It's great fights, competitive fights. There was everything for the fans tonight. Great knockouts, real to and fro fights, and we see some guys who are going to be in some really big fights next year, and hopefully they're going to capitalise on what they did tonight, which have got them there.
Frank, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, my son.